Well, it's Money Monday, and we want to take some time to answer the email questions about finances that you've sent in. This is from Lara. She says, my father is deceased, and my elderly mother is now living with us. I am in the process of selling her home, but I'm nervous about putting all the proceeds in the bank. How concerned should I be about a bank going bust anytime in the near future?
Laura, I don't think you have to be very concerned. Well, you can look at their balance sheet, but you know there is the so-called FDIC, and it does insure most deposits up to the amount that you're talking about. So I don't think that that is a problem. If you are worried about a bank, you can put some money in a money market fund. They're pretty stable, and you can spread them around if you want to. You can have different banks, you know, and each one has an insurance policy up to the limit.
So that you're not just with one.
Yeah.
This is from Jake, who says, I have a car that is 7 years old and has earned the nickname Murphy for all the things that have gone wrong with it. Do you have some guidelines to help me know when it's time to replace the car rather than continuing to repair it?
I had a car, Ford Bronco. It's a wonderful car. I just drove that car and drove it, and things started going bad. And finally, I think the head on the engine blew out or something, and so they said, you'll need a new engine. And I said, well, how much will that cost? And they said, it'll be $1,800. And then I looked at the blue book, or had somebody check, and I said, well, if we put the engine in and then sell the car, what do we get for it? And we'll get about $1,700. And I said, that doesn't seem like a very good deal to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way you begin to tell when your repairs are going to cost you more than the car is worth after the repair. And so, you know, other than that, those old things will drive you crazy. And so you have, you know, transmission goes out, or the bearings go out, or the valves go out. And
once the big stuff starts to go, you're in trouble.
Oh, big time trouble. And so,
but
you know,
a 7-year-old car that's having that kind of trouble, that's...
Well, I mean,
might be Murphy Lemon.
Well, some of them may start having trouble the minute you buy them.
Yeah,
so, you know, they can be a lemon. But it's a question of your own peace of mind. But just having a new shiny car in the garage, you're going to pay through the nose. And so the idea of getting one a couple of years old, absolutely. I was able, you know, to get a car that I needed, you know, as sort of something to bang around in at another place. We were able to find a wonderful car, but it had like 83,000 miles on it. But it was in perfect condition, beautiful car, very cheap, and it's still running, still going fine.
That's wonderful.
And I got that instead of that Ford Bronco. so, anyhow,
it was a good trade. Well, if you'd like more information on whether you should repair or replace your car, go to cbn.com, click on the Bring It On Extra link, and you'll find some info and advice there. This is Marcus, who says, my wife and I are going to Russia as missionaries and have raised most of our support, but not all. We're wondering if our incomplete support could be God's way of telling us not to go yet. Does God use financial provision to show us his will?
Well, Marcus, he can and does. The question, I don't know your situation. I don't know how much faith the Lord wants you to have. I don't know what urging of the Holy Spirit there is to go to Russia as a missionary. But I think I would analyze, can you speak the language? I think that's where I'd start.
Yeah. And sometimes, I mean, you certainly know this from the beginnings here.
Yeah.
Many times God asks you to step out on faith
without
having all the
we didn't have money to build this. We didn't have money to do the other. We didn't have money to do anything. And you just go out trusting the Lord. But each one is dealt with differently by the Lord, and I can't give you some rule about this. But God, yes, uses money to speak to you, no question.
This is Nathan, who says, do you think buying government bonds from Israel is a good way for an individual to be a blessing to Israel? Do you have suggestions for other ways individuals or churches could support Israel?
I'll tell you what we've done. What I did, as a matter of fact, personally, there was an art gallery in Jerusalem that was helping struggling Israeli artists, and they didn't have any money, and I gave them some money personally. We have, from CBN, supported a hospital in southern Israel. We've also sent Israeli children who were in need of sophisticated medical equipment, care. We've sent them to the United States and paid for their way. I think the best way you can help Israel is to do something like that. We also have a food pantry. There's some people that don't have enough food to eat, and so We've done that as well in Israel. I think you'd be better to find somebody who has a need, or some hospital or some relief organization that's doing a good work, and give them a hand.
Okay, this is Perry, who says, I read an article that said that long-term deflation would not be good for our economy. I thought inflation was bad. What's your take on deflation?
They're both bad. It's, a little bit of deflation, if you have stable prices, that's a good thing. If things are stable for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, that's good. And people make rational decisions on the fact that everything's stable. Now we make decisions on the fact that the value of a house is going up, inflation is going to do something, we're going to have a higher salary or so forth. Or deflation is, I'd better get out quick before the bottom falls out. But stable, and if you use the term deflationary, that's good. A crisis where the bottom is falling out, it's bad. The same thing with inflation going up. Inflation is not good,
At all.
Really, but I mean,
Exactly.
now we say we need 3 or 4% inflation in order to pay off the debt.
Okay, this is Jane, who says, my husband is a new believer and has agreed we should tithe, but due to our tight budget is against giving beyond that. I would like to give more. Do I obey God in giving more behind my husband's back, or obey my husband?
Don't set up a situation where you're deceiving your husband. Work together. If he's happy enough to give 10%, well, give 10% and see what God's going to do. But don't be slipping out the back door and saying, well, I gave $5 there, but I didn't tell my husband. You don't want to build deceit into a marriage, I don't think.
Exactly. Well, we thank you for your financial questions. We'll take some more of them again next Monday, so tune in for that.